Welcome to Friday Night Heights here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as the 9th-ranked Crimson Tide are playing host to the Georgia Bulldogs. We are not messing around. We're jumping right into a bunch of gymnastics. We're going to start out with Alabama on vault. You're looking at sophomore Winter Childers. She's going to lead off for the Crimson Tide, and it is going to be a frenetic pace. I'm joined by Alicia Sacramone-Quinn. I'm John Roethlisberger, and this is going to be a great rivalry.
Coach Dana Duckworth is looking for aggressive performances here tonight. And let's see how we start off. A pretty decent Yurchenko full, some leg sloppiness there, a slight bend and a hop on that landing. Solid starting off point, but I think she could do better. All the way around. Chest was down on the landing, causing her to hop that backwards a little bit. But a good starting off point for the Crimson Tide.
These two teams are a great rivalry, long history. Two of the most decorated programs in the country as we look at Lauren Johnson. She is a senior, and she is going to start off a bars lineup for Georgia that's only going to have 5 gymnasts tonight. They're battling a few injuries early in the season.
Start off by mounting over the high bar. That was a big ginger there. It's a release move. It's actually a requirement. You have to have 2 release moves in your bar routine to start from a 10. Transitioning from high bar to low bar. Little bit short on that handstand. You have within 10 degrees of vertical without deduction. Stuck double layout landing. So that's the type of routine they're looking for, especially when 5 routines up and 5 routines have to count.
Yeah, every routine is going to count. Typically in women's gymnastics, you can drop that low score, put up 6 gymnasts and drop the low score. Not for Georgia tonight. Every 10th, every landing, every routine is going to count. Now back over to vault. Maddie Desch, the sophomore out of Lenexa, Kansas, and Gage Gymnastics Club, very well-known club that's produced numerous collegiate and as well as Olympic gymnasts. Maddie was a member of the 2014 World Championship team for the United States.
Attempting to stick that Yurchenko full. It wasn't the best vault I've seen with a lot of amplitude, but she was trying to control that landing, so sometimes you have to give and take. Do you want more height? Do you want a stuck landing? And it's about finding that happy medium that works best for each athlete. Nice body position in the air, just a little bit short in that landing.
Winter Childers put up a 9.775 in the leadoff spot for Alabama. We'll see Coach Dana Duckworth with some words for Lauren as she heads back to the bench, or Maddie rather. Now we have Marissa Oakley, the freshman, second up for Georgia on bars, following a 9.75 from Lauren Johnson.
Starting off with a big shabash, moving back to the low bar with a pack salto. Beautiful handstand pirouette. A bit short in that handstand, but within range where she shouldn't be getting adduction. Toasted to immediate double tuck. Could have had a little bit more control on that dismount, but it was a connection skill, which is bonus, which will help her up getting that start value of a 10.0. It's going to be hard to see if she's going to be within that 90 to 80 degree variation and just that little hop on the landing. She's working on a more difficult dismount. She actually just started back in the bar lineup due to a shoulder injury, so good starting off point for her.
And here is how the meet is scored. 6 gymnasts per event, as we talked about. 5 best scores count. And of those 5 scores, you hope they're all good, no misses. You get to drop 1, and then all 4 apparatus are added together for a cumulative team score. The home team gets Olympic order. They start on vault, while the visiting team starts on bars, and they have to end on the always difficult balance beam. So we got a waiting game here going on vault. That's head coach Dana Duckworth and Bill Lorenz, the assistant coach. Now, one of the judges, we're being told, did not see Maddie Desch vault, and Maddie Desch was the second vaulter to go. And you know that I've heard of that happening, Alicia, occasionally when they don't realize the green flag has gone up and all of a sudden the gymnast is going. Especially here, women's gymnastics in the SEC moves fast, but really that shouldn't happen.
This is a very quick pace moving competition, and I find it hard to believe you miss a vault, but it does happen. She has to be, you know, as a judge, you need to be on your game and be prepared to see what's happening, and it does happen in the blink of an eye. A vault happens very quickly.
And there's the vault.
It looked like she wasn't even looking at her. She was looking the opposite direction.
So I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. That was the judge that was involved in the meeting with the coaches.
It's a unique situation to be in.
You can't really, I guess you go with the judges
Just go with
that
the
saw.
one score, yeah. Typically they average the judges' score. So I think in this case they would just have to go with the one, which...
I think they should ask that guy in the front row behind him what he thinks and just let him give the score.
He definitely seems qualified enough. Be like, excuse me, kind sir, what did you think of this?
That's not a smile on Dana's face. I think she's not real thrilled with.
I wonder if they'll make her vault again. It's one option. Hashing out a game plan right now.
Yeah, that is an awkward situation if you're that judge. And again, you know, there could be a situation where maybe the judge didn't raise the flag and she saluted and went. I've heard of that happening as well. Now, I'm not going to speculate on what exactly transpired before she went, but this is certainly an awkward pause. Here's Maddie Desch.
And you best believe those coaches are fighting for whatever's best for their team and that athlete, whether that be getting to vault again, which could be great in that sense, or...
And it could be a situation, if she went without the green flag, it could be a situation where she gets a 0.
That would not be so great.
All right, she gets to do it again, we're being told. She got a smile on her face, does Coach Duckworth. But now Maddie Desch has kind of got to get her head back in this.
She's taking a second to put her wrist guards back on. Wasn't really ready to go again, but that's okay.
She's over in another world right now. She's thinking, I'm done, vault's over.
If it is an event to repeat, at least it's the quickest one. It's not like repeating a floor routine. That'd be a little bit rough.
She got a warm-up vault.
It's a last-minute quick touch.
Now, again, we're getting information here on the fly, but apparently she'll get to go it again, but there will be a deduction attached to this vault, so I'm guessing she may have gone before the green flag.
Interesting. Alabama's trying to get her all pumped up and ready to go for vault 2.
If she can use that, quote, warm-up vault to her advantage and come out and do a better vault, that deduction may not end up hurting her too badly.
Better entry onto the table, better vault. I like that vault better. Small hop on the landing. Her chest was up, though. It was more controlled.
Much bigger vault. Did take the hop backwards, which is because it was a bigger vault, but it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Good entry onto the table. Slight elbow bend, but that didn't seem to affect her too much. It had better distance. It had better height. I wouldn't be upset about having to repeat it.
So we may stay here at vault because... Nope, we're going to head over to bars. Natalie Vakulik. She is a senior. She's out of Ontario, Canada, in Gemini Gymnastics.
Quick cast handstand. Blind change full. To big finger, slight leg separation when she catches the bar. Shoot over handstand, a little form break when she try to get to that handstand. Gearing up for her dismount. Full twisting double back. Little leg kick out there before she landed. She was looking for the floor to try to stick.
That was some big bars, though. Big release move, big dismount, and she's following a 9.8 from Marissa Oakley.
There you see the legs together, and she just kicks it out a little bit early. She was premature trying to find that stick. But for 5 up, 5 count, Georgia's doing a good job of just hitting clean, consistent routines.
They're executing their game plan, 3 for 3. Now Abby Armbrecht had a little more of a weight than she anticipated. She is up third for Alabama.
Starting her approach to the table. Yurchenko, 1.5, a little bit short, causing her to take that step backwards. I would like to see a little bit more rotation on the flip so she can land vertically on that 1.5. It's a blind landing. It makes it hard to see. What we're looking for in vault is you want the height, the landing, and the start value. It is only a few vaults now, well, not a few, a little more than a few that start from a 10.0. What you typically see are Yurchenko full or Yurchenko layout. half has been downgraded to a 9.95 start value instead of a 10.0.
Quickly, Maddie Desch got a 9.25 for her second vault. There was a 5/10 deduction, so that'll hurt a little bit. Alabama hoping to drop that score. Now back over to Vars. Vakulik, a 9.825, so scores are building nicely for Georgia, where the pressure is on for them on the bars. 5 up, 5 count. Now junior Sydney Sneed, they will rely heavily on her tonight.
Mounting up onto the high bar. Free hip handstand to Tkachev. Nice handstand before shoot over. They're not the flashiest bar routines we've ever seen from Georgia, but they're clean and they're hits, and that's all that matters at this point in the game, is getting their athletes healthy and upping their skills. A little bit short on that dismount. She slowed down on her giant before releasing for the double layout, causing her to land with her chest down.
But the bottom line for Georgia, pressure's on that event, and they are delivering. Courtney Capet's talked about how they wanted to come into the season and just be consistent. They might not have the most difficulty compared to some other teams, but they want to be clean and they want to be consistent, and they're doing a good job so far. Quickly back over to vault. Shea Mahoney, sophomore. She competed for the first time in the vault lineup last week at a 9.85.
Yurchenko full, small hop back, good height, not a ton of distance, but that should score well for a full. Into the table, the height off. Very straight, which is hard to find usually. Slight elbow bend, but good control, only that small hop there.
Abby Armbrecht got a 9.825 for her vault score right before Shea went. Rachel Dixon waiting to go. She's going to follow Sydney Steve's 9.85. So every score for Georgia has gone up by 0.025. Now Rachel Dixon, the sophomore from Michigan Elite Gymnastics, trying to put an exclamation point on this bar rotation for the Bulldogs.
A little bit loose on that handstand, but saved it. Toe on to Big Tkachev, also known as a Ray, performed by an Olympian Elise Ray. Shoot over, just losing a little bit of form in her middle, just needs to be tighter at the end of her skills. Gearing up for the dismount, good speed and momentum. Nice double layout, just needed that stick, small hop backwards. But a good bar rotation.
Yeah, I don't think Georgia could ask for much more. With 5 up, 5 count, they nailed it.
Toe on, toe off to big straddle Tkachev. That is a hard skill. I attempted those in my days of trying to do bars. Not easy to do. Very impressive bar routine.
For Alabama, Lexi Graber.
Courtney Capet's Carter gathers them together as we see Lexi Graber, a freshman, had a little trouble in warm-ups on this event. Hopefully can nail it here. They need to drop a 9.25 for Maddie Desch in the second spot.
She does a 10.0 start value of 1.5. Oh, she did a very similar warm-up vault like that, which is, you know, it's a little bit scary for gymnasts, and you can see her hobbling off. Some knee pain associated with landing with her legs locked out like that. I hope she's okay. That's the risk you run with doing a blind landing vault. If you open up early, you run that chance of, unfortunately, landing not so great.
Yeah, let's hope this isn't as bad as it looked. You can see that locked leg.
It's painful. I know it stings right away. Hopefully it's something that will subside with a little bit of ice and time, and that she'll be all right.
As we talked about, a very similar landing she had in the warm-ups for tonight's competition. We were wondering if she was going to go on this event.
It honestly almost looked identical, that same type of... She's just not rotating the vault enough where she's going to be able to land vertically, and she has that lean back with the top half of her body, causing her to lock out her legs, which is very painful. It's scary. I hope for her sake her knees are okay.
Yeah, we're certainly not going to speculate on what's wrong. I have seen gymnasts do that, and it turns out to be a bruise. We certainly hope that that's what it is. The judges give her a 9.3 for that vault, so that's going to hurt the team score here for Alabama. They are going to be chasing Georgia after one rotation. Nikki Guerrero, the senior, trying to set the ship straight here for the Crimson Tide.
Approaching the table, 1.5, That's the type of landing they're looking for in 1.5s. That's what you look for in a senior, that type of guidance, that type of person that can, even in a moment of adversity when your teammate could be hurt, you need to go and perform, and she did that.
She delivered big time.
A little bit sloppy on her legs, but
easy to see in slow motion, right?
I know. The judges don't see necessarily what we see, so we have a little bit of advantage or a disadvantage for the viewers because we get to be a little bit harder on the performances.
So a good rotation to start. We see the Georgia Bulldogs. They'll get ready for vault. Coming up, more on Georgia. Their new coach, new direction, familiar philosophy.
More than just gymnastics, it's more than just championships. It's a family for life.
Courtney is she's always been such an inspiration for everybody that comes through these doors as a gym dog, and to actually get to work alongside her and to hear some of her wisdom has been inspiring for all of us.
It's amazing to be back, and I can truly say I'm back where I'm happiest. And so I'm so excited to be able to lead these young ladies through their journey of college gymnastics.
It's an honor to have her as our coach because we just want to walk in her footsteps, and having her tutelage and her wisdom is just going to make us better gymnasts in the long run.
We are definitely moving forward, we are definitely making changes, but the underlying philosophy will remain the same of Georgia gymnastics, and I think that is something that potentially was missing.
For these head coaches, Dana Duckworth and Courtney Capets-Carter, they followed similar paths, and their journeys both began with them being outstanding collegiate gymnasts.
Hoping to bring back some dynamic gymnastics. Dana Duckworth is a two-time national beam champion who's following in the footsteps of Sarah Patterson, who just literally excelled in greatness here. Courtney Capets-Carter was a phenomenal athlete. Honestly, she could be the greatest NCAA gymnast of all time with her accolades and what she accomplished at the University of Georgia.
And now they are both head coaches at these historic programs. And when you look at what both have done, 10 national championships for Georgia, 6 for Alabama, all of those won by Suzanne Yakulin and Sarah Patterson respectively. But 2 of the most storied, decorated programs in collegiate history, and now these coaches have got to try to continue that tradition. There's been a couple coaches in between Courtney and Suzanne Yakulin, but so many eyes will be on her. This is her first collegiate coaching position. So people are wondering, can she pull this off? For Dana Duckworth, she's in her 4th season. She's done an outstanding job, but she is still looking for a national title. Here's the score, a little over a half-a-point lead for Georgia, a little bit surprising after one rotation. When we come back, Sydney Steed, she will be on vault. For Alabama, Mackenzie Brannon will anchor their lineup. One rotation done. Georgia, even with only 5 gymnasts in their bar rotation, put up a very nice 49.125. Courtney Capets-Carter is going to be happy with that. Alabama struggled on vault. They had a fall, and they had a miscommunication with the judge, and only a 48.6, so a half-point lead. Now, Georgia over on vault. Sabrina Vega will lead off there, and she is a well-decorated elite gymnast now in her sophomore year here at Georgia.
First time competing in vault in a very long time. A very long Yurchenko full. A little bit form breaks here and there, but for somebody who hasn't vaulted literally in years, I think that's a pretty good starting off point for her to get back in the vault lineup.
It was a big vault. Just need to clean that up and stick that landing, and she's going to score big. But for Georgia, that is 6 hits out of 6 routines. Now, over to bars. And Winter Childers, she started off the competition for Alabama on vault. She put up a 9.775. Now she's on bars. She is going to be relied upon heavily, I think, this season. She's doing all around tonight. She's going to be a big factor for the Crimson Tide.
Cass Hampton starting on the low bar. Posh to the high bar. Squeeze the slight leg separation there where she could keep that together so she won't lose any form deductions. Line change to double front with the hat twist, stuck landing. Stuck landing. That was the craziest one. You don't see that very often. So she starts off as a double front and then turns before the landing to add difficulty. Or turns early, excuse me. She turns earlier off the bar and then lands almost like a backwards landing.
I think we call that unorthodox.
Unorthodox is the perfect word to describe that, John.
But done well. Now Marissa Oakley, freshman out of Huntersville, North Carolina. Second up, follows Sabrina Vega's 9.775.
Chanclo full, small hop. Chest a little bit low on that landing, but if you're Georgia, you're just looking for a hit. Clean, consistent, solid hits.
So we saw Winter Childers stick that bar dismount. Lauren Sisler's got more on Crimson Tide stuck landings tonight.
The Crimson Tide stuck landings, you know what that equals? It equals the dynamic diva belt. You might have seen Alabama football this year passing around a WWE-style belt on defense when they had a good play. Well, the stuck landings, it's called the dynamic diva belt. Nikki Guerrero getting it first tonight on vault, and we'll see who's up next.
I like it. The dynamic diva belt. I wonder if I could win that tonight if I stick a landing. Ari Guerrera, the junior, follows Winter Childers 9.825. So good start so far for Alabama.
Mounting up onto the high bar. Line change. Big Jaeger. You see mats sliding in and out. Extra matting is allowed just for the safety of the athletes. There's no deduction for that as long as it's moved out of the way correctly and in the right timing. Gearing up for the dismount here. Double layout. Stuck landing. Everybody's pretty pumped up about it.
Give me the belt.
She wants the belt. Alabama looks like they're kind of getting their groove back after a little bit strange vault. That's the epitome of a stick. Plant and heels together.
Slide the feet together. She gets the belt. 2 for 2 on the belt. I mean, the belt's going to get old if they keep this up.
They're going to have to buy multiple belts.
Gigi Marino, the senior, third up for Georgia on vault.
Chanclo full. Not seeing much variations in vault, which is okay. It's early in the season. Teams need time to start upping their value. Won't be the biggest score. Had some leg separation. Small hop on that landing.
You know, one of the things I think we'll see as we go through the season, Alicia, is we're not seeing a lot of stuck vaults last week and this week, but that's one of those things that I feel like kind of grows as the season comes along.
That's all with fine-tuning and about perfecting closer towards postseason, and it takes time. It's all about practice. Right now they're coming off winter break, they had holidays, they're getting back in the groove of things.
Senior Jenny Loeb, last week she did her first college routine on bars, a huge favorite of this team. She has worked so hard to get in the lineup, and she follows a career-high 9.9 for Ari Guerrera.
Toes-to handstand to Shaposh. A little bit lacking on that backswing. Short handstand there. Another short handstand on that overshoot. Some call it overshoot, some call it a shoot over. Really short handstand there. Not ideally what we're looking for in our bar routine. Nice dismount, just needs a little bit more rotation for that stick. On bars, you're looking for some key things, and hitting those handstand is one of them. So that's going to be a maybe 2 to 3 tenths deduction right there for not being within that 10-degree limit of 90 degrees.
So not sure the scores will continue to build. The first two for Alabama did, 9.825 and a 9.9 they started off with. Now Lauren Johnson gets her chance on vault. She led off the bar rotation with a 9.775. Lauren comes out of Atlanta, Georgia, and Gwinnett Gymnastics Center. Very successful club program in the Atlanta area. That young man is Charlie Tamayo, and I think it's fitting that he's coaching vault. In his day, he was a gymnast, and he was one of the best vaulters in the world. We'll see if it rubbed off on him, on his gymnast.
Your Chanclo full stuck. That's the type of landing we're looking for. Chester's a little bit down, but that landing was what I'm looking for.
Was it stuck, though? Let's see.
It looked stuck from the angle we had.
Let's see this foot.
I think it was stuck, John. Coffee's on you next week if it's not. Oh, yes.
I give it to her. All right, I'm buying. Nicely done.
For Alabama, bars, Kylie Dixon.
So things continue to go well for Georgia. Now back over to bars. Jenny Loeb, a 9.725. Now this is Kylie Dixon. Actually competed for Belarus at the 2015 Worlds and at the 2016 Olympics. Dual citizenship with the country of Belarus.
That shoot over is a little bit short of handstand, a little Nerves on bars can make you miss those little fine-tuning things that are not hard fixes, but they do add up, unfortunately, with deductions. Big Tkachev over the high bar. That was huge.
You could hear the crowd go, oh.
She's a tall gymnast. Huge. Okay, that dismount was above the high bar. That full twist happened above the high bar.
She has got no excuse not to stick that. She sees the ground for minutes,
She's
it
in the
looks
air
like.
forever.
Humongous.
Look how much height she has. That was humongous. And then this dismount above the bar. Oh no, full, let me finish the full above it. That was impressive. I like that routine a lot.
So Lauren Johnson got a 9.85. This is Rachel Dixon.
Yurchenko, she was tempting Yurchenko full. It looked like she just bailed out in the middle. She had a decent amount of height and distance going on there. Just a fluke.
Yeah, this was strange.
Started off okay, and then it looked like she got lost, and she didn't realize where she was in the air and just couldn't get it all the way around.
Thankfully, she got up and walked away from that. That could have been bad, but she's got a smile on her face. I know she wants to chalk that one up for, hey, it was just a bad day, let's move on. Now senior Kiana Winston, last week at Michigan, she put up a 9.925. She won this event. She's the specialist of the week for winning bars and beam in her season opener. Kylie Dixon gets a 9.85.
I thought that would have been a little bit higher.
I actually did too. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe that stuck landing would have made the difference.
Starting on the low bar, toe handstand, Tisha Posh, kick cast, beautiful path. So far so good in this bar set. Hitting that handstand for her dismount. Double layout, stop! She gets the bell. John, she gets the bell.
Could this be a 10?
I don't know. The judges don't seem like they want to be throwing super high scores right now.
It would have to be a big jump in score from a 9.85 for Kylie Dixon all the way to a 10. Judges usually don't do that.
It was warranted, though. It was a very clean. What could you deduct from that? Stuck. Sorry, not getting anything there.
Oh, there's no better feeling in gymnastics when you just nail that like a toothpick in a club sandwich. Kiana Winston, give her the belt. Now finishing off the vault rotation for Georgia, this is Sydney Sneed. She's capable of a double twist. Not sure if they'll do it here. Obviously, they want to be a little bit careful because they're going to want to drop Rachel Dixon's score and make sure they get another hit as we continue to wait for the score to come in. An 8.85 it looks like for Rachel Dixon. So if Sydney Sneed will just land on her feet, they'll get rid of that. And that's the bar score for Kiana Winston. 9.9, Alicia.
It's close. It was close to
Sharp
what we wanted.
pencils. They got some sharp pencils. 9.925, actually, it looks like, for Kiana Winston.
Let's see what vault we decide to go with. A big Yurchenko full.
You can see why she's capable of the double twist. That was big.
100%. I think it was a smart play, going a little more conservative, get a clean hit, not worry about any big mistakes.
We've got more from Lauren Sisler. Go ahead, Lauren.
You might notice that Alabama has added the color green to their color scheme, wearing ribbons in their hair. Also, the coaches wearing bracelets that say "Fight Like Hell." That's what Mackenzie Brannon's brother Brian said when he was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma to his mother. Fight like hell, and that's exactly what he's doing. Mackenzie Brannon, about to go on bars, wanted to go home, but coach said, "You got to be here. This is what he wants for you in your senior season. This is how I'd want it." And from all of us here at the SEC Network, our prayers go out to you, Brian.
Mounting over the low bar. Mac has beautiful lines on this event. Big Jaeger. She was an elite level gymnast as well, and I had seen her compete many times. Just getting ready for that dismount. Double layout. I want to save that to stick, but I think she's moved her feet just a tiny bit. This is the type of handstand we're looking for. Straight up and down. And then, of course, a good dismount. Slight leg separation from this angle that we're at, but the judges don't see that.
Alabama rights the ship on bars after a rough start on the vault. Lauren Sisler has caught up with the newest coach in the SEC, Courtney Capets-Carter.
Hey, Courtney, so great to have you here as a coach now. Awesome stuff. You guys had 5 girls on bars, obviously coming in with adversity. How proud of you of the girls to step up and really perform and keep it clean the way that they did?
So proud. We've been talking about this all fall, that we're proud of them because they continue to make changes, they continue to adjust, and they continue to get better, and that's what we want to see. And I'm so proud of how they handled themselves on bars and on vault. We had one girl just kind of go. Her steps were off. She should have ran to the side. She knows that now. But it's just one thing comes up, and they're not going to get rattled. That's what we've really talked about. Don't get rattled.
All right, thanks so much, Courtney. Best of luck.
Thank you, Lauren. With the rough NCAA championships last year, the Crimson Tide are leaning on senior leadership to take the next step.
Enough for all they've done for me and all the opportunities I've gotten.
It goes back to the development of the young woman. And I think that is what I love the most about what I get to do.
I have grown a lot as an individual and as a gymnast. I've learned to trust myself and my training and my body.
And we really have a group of young women that I've seen, they have a desire that's at another level.
We do our best when we're having fun, and just so very, very grateful for the opportunity to represent my team in this university, and it just gets me really emotional every time we talk about it.
I'm just thankful to be a part of it and to be able to share this last year with all my sisters.
Let's take a look at who's taking the next step, brought to you by Regions. And these 3 seniors, Mackenzie Brannon, Nikki Guerrero, and Kiana Winston for Alabama, are going to be huge for them this season.
Coach Dana Duckworth is not only looking for them for dynamic performance, but also for their leadership and help grooming this very promising freshman class that they have underneath them.
Kiana Winston with a career-high 10.0 on floor. I would not be a bit surprised to see her do that again this season. Nikki Guerrero getting ready to go on the balance beam, and after 2 rotations, it tightened up a little bit. Georgia gave back a little bit, actually about 0.45, so they only hold a 0.075 lead. All-American Nikki Guerrero will be on beam for Alabama, and the quiet leader, Gigi Marino, will be on floor for Georgia. Turning opportunity, Lauren?
Yeah, no more than a few hours after the Alabama team made an epic comeback, Dana Duckworth brought her team in front of the whiteboard, and you can see this here. They have all these words written here, and one thing that jumps off to me is selflessness. Quoting head coach Nick Saban, "This has nothing to do with me, it's us," and that's what this team wants to focus on, being selfless, competing together as a power of one, which is the team's motto this season.
Thanks, Lauren. Building character has been a huge thing for Dana Duckworth this season, Alicia.
She definitely wants to see them trust in the process. They are instilling a lot of character building things here, and they want them to believe in what they're doing, so they have to commit to what they're seeing in practice and do that on the competition floor.
I saw Intua We Trust on that whiteboard, and I'm pretty sure they could put him up on balance beam tonight. That kid can do anything. As we see, Alabama has already started this rotation. This is Peyton Ernst leading off for the Crimson Tide.
That handspring layout step out. And balance beam perform, that would be called an acro series, where you're doing your tumbling skills to fulfill a requirement. Sheep jump there, it's a difficult jump. You lose sight of the beam, giving her decent bonus points on that E-level skill. Front aerial. Finishing up her beam routine, getting ready for that dismount. Round off double full. I think that was a stick.
Looked good to me. Peyton was a freshman at Florida, actually transferred here to Alabama, and was also a former member of the U.S. national team, so quite a resume.
That round off, laid out double full, a little bit soft feet in the air, but nailed that dismount landing.
Meanwhile, Georgia is going to compete on the floor exercise this rotation. This is senior Jasmine Arnold out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, in Elite Energy Gymnastics. Team has a ton of respect for her. This her first time competing was last week. Little by little, she's worked her way into the lineup. Another great story.
First tumbling pass, round off back handspring, double pike. A little bit short on that landing, just opened up a tad early. Talking with Coach Kupets Carter, she actually mentioned that dance has been one of the things that they've vastly improved on since last season, and she's really happy to see them performing these routines out on the floor. Double tuck, second pass. Switch ring to switch half, split jump down to the floor. Using this last little bit of dance to get that Friday night feel in and get her last few breaths before her last tumbling pass. Round off, 1.5 punch front layout. Good for her, working her way into the lineup. Second NCAA competition in her career. Starting off Georgia to a strong start on the floor exercise.
Saturday, it's college hoops doubleheader. First at 6 Eastern, Texas A&M takes on number 24 Tennessee in Knoxville. That will be followed by Alabama and LSU. Both games are right here on the SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. So we got a bit of a lineup update here. Maddie Desch is continuing in the second spot, but Graber is out because of that knee injury. Abby Armbrecht will be in the third spot. Winter Childers will drop to the fourth spot for Alabama. If you can keep that all straight, you're better than me.
Front aerial to beat jump. Getting bonus points for connecting an acro element with a dance element. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. In the composition of a beam routine, you have to go back and forth across the beam so many times to not get a composition deduction, excuse me. And there are required skills like a full turn that you just saw. Switch leap to split jump. Similar to the floor exercise, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds to perform your routine in the allotted time. Back handspring, step up, back handspring, 2 feet, 1.5, stuck landing. Bonus for the 2 back handspring connection and the dismount, that's great.
But will she get to do it again? She got to ball twice. Does she get to do beam twice?
I don't think you'd want to have to do beam twice, especially when you hit your routine like the way she did. Switch leap, the split jump, and then that 3 connection, back handspring, laid out 1.5, stuck.
So we got as we wait for Maddie Desch's score, big smile there. Got a little bit of a change in the floor lineup as well. Gigi Moreno is going to drop to the end of the lineup. Everyone else is going to shift up 1.
Whip to double back.
This is Vivi Babalis out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Round off, whip half, front full. A little bit different tumbling than we're used to seeing, which I like. I like seeing some different skills thrown in there. Teammates on the side, dancing along with her. Torgetate half to split 1.5. A lot of bonus points for that connection right there. Difficult jump connection. Last tumbling pass. Round off double pike. Super high, well controlled. You don't typically see it just from a round off. Usually you see round off back handspring, but some athletes choose the option to do that.
So Vivi is following a 9.8 Jasmine Arnold led off with.
The round off, nice set.
Big
double pike. From a round off, that's very impressive.
So now we see a lineup change over here on beam. Abby Armbrecht out of Mobile, Alabama. Little known fact, Alicia, she comes out of Planet Gymnastics, and she was actually coached by Vladimir Novikov, who I competed against like 3 decades ago. And he always beat me. He was really good.
Front aerial to beat jump. A little bit slow in that connection. I'll be interested to see if they give it to her. What we're looking for on balance beam is those connections between dance skills, acro skills. An acro skill that you must have is your beam series and then balance checks. When you're losing your balance or you're trying not to fall, you have what we like to call a wobble in the industry. It's all about staying on. Sometimes you got to fight to do so. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. Beautiful split jump to beat jump to sheep jump.
You notice that score down in the bottom right corner. The meet's close, let's just say. Exact tie so far through this rotation.
That's what makes a rivalry fun. Round off 1.5, small hop in the landing. Not bad for being thrown in last minute to replace a teammate. The acro series here, the back handspring layup step out. The round off 1.5, legs perfectly together. Just needed a little bit of help on that landing.
And you said it, Alicia, she was put in the lineup last minute because of her injury to her teammate, which you never want to see an injury, but if that's going to happen, you want to see that happen early in the season, get that experience, and she stepped up nicely. Now third up for Georgia, Rachel Dixon. Vivi Babalis got a 9.825, so scores are building for Georgia as well. It's going to be tight down the stretch.
Round off back handspring, double pike. Playing up her dance a little bit in the corner. Round off 1.5 punch front layout. Oh, working the camera. I like it. Switch side, straddle full for her jump connection. Redeeming herself hopefully with this last tumbling pass for not the best showing on vault, but she's looking like she wants to prove herself here on floor. Round off back handspring, double tuck. That was pretty big, kicked out a little early. She wanted that stuck landing.
Got a serious look on her face. Looks like she may have wanted more out of that routine.
The round off 1.5 punch front connection pass, that's a requirement, 2 different saltos, and then she just giving the camera a little love there.
Got to try to have a little fun while you're out there on the floor.
That's the whole point.
Now Winter Childers competing in the all-around tonight. She comes out of Spearfish, South Dakota. If there's ever been a gymnastics factory in the country, it's got to be Spearfish, South Dakota.
Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. little turn. Split jump to sheep jump. Not enough bend in the back for that sheep jump, in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see what the judges give her for that. It's still a very difficult connection to a nice Liukin, named after my Olympic teammate, Nastia Liukin. Round off double fold, slight leg separation, but she wanted to get that stuck landing badly, so you can't hold that against her.
Gymnastics takes over the SEC network every Friday night. Next week, we'll have number 7 Florida and number 6 Kentucky at 7 Eastern. Then at 8:30, it's number 9 Alabama and number 1 LSU. Friday Night Heights is also streaming live on the ESPN app. So Alabama continues to roll on balance beam. 9.85 for Abby Armbrecht. Certainly going to be a big score for Winter Childers. Now over on floor exercise, Sydney Sneed. She is also competing in the all-around. A nice little battle between her and Winter Childers. Just 1/10 separating those two gymnasts after 2 rotations.
Round off, whip back handspring, double tuck. Getting close to the edge of the floor, but stayed in bounds. Getting ready for her second tumbling pass. Front 1.5 to Shishinova. Connection skills are fun. You don't really see those very often. Some would assume that Shishinova hurts. It's like a straddle jump right to your stomach, but if done correctly, it shouldn't hurt.
Easy for you to say, Alicia.
I've done it incorrectly, and it has hurt, so I've seen it both ways. Last tumbling pass, round off back handspring, double pike. Oh, landed a little bit short. It's like she saw that she was going to be out of bounds and try to keep it in, and just under rotated that last pass.
In a tight competition, those small mistakes could make a big difference. Now back over to beam. Kiana Winston is the next gymnast up there for Alabama. Lauren Sisler has more on her.
Yeah, as a senior, Kiana has proven herself to be a tremendous leader both in the gym and in the classroom. In just 3 years, she graduated with a 3.5 GPA, working towards her master's now in social work. And as you both know, being an elite level gymnast takes a lot of time, effort, dedication. It's like a full-time job. So obviously for her to be able to come out here and have this success is tremendous.
Thank you, Lauren. Certainly one of the leaders of this team, and got such a great energy. You mentioned, Alicia, before the competition that she's just so fun. You really enjoy her energy.
She's one of my favorite NCAA athletes to watch. She just has such beautiful gymnastics, and she's a great personality. She's a sweet girl, and you got to admire her. Graduating in 3 years, and that's impressive. And doing gym. Lauren's right, it is like a full-time job.
Kiana comes out of Texas Dreams. Jim is head coach there is Kim Zemeskel-Burdette. She is the first world champion in the United States. So she comes out of an outstanding gym club.
Kiana getting ready for her dismount here. Round off double tuck. Small hop backwards, big dismount, very difficult, and she made that look easy.
Winter Childers a 9.875. Thought that might have been a little bit higher. We'll see if Kiana Winston can build on that.
This dismount is huge. You could easily walk underneath it 2 times before she even makes it to the ground.
You don't see a lot of those double back dismounts either. Very, very difficult. Tina Duckworth loves it. Now Sydney Sneed, a 9.2 for her routine. Georgia is absolutely going to have to drop that score if they hope to keep pace with Alabama. This is Sabrina Vega. If anybody can stop the bleeding, it's this young lady.
I've had the pleasure of being on national team with Sabrina back when we both were competing for the United States, and she is a delight. Great showmanship. Girl can dance like you wouldn't believe, and she's got ups. That was a big double pike. She performed her first pass. Coach Kupets-Carter was really excited about this routine, saying it might be one of the best floor routines in the NCAA, in her opinion. Everybody getting into it over on the side. Switch ring, Torjete half. Torjete full, difficult jump to get credit for, but she makes it look easy with having such good height and amplitude on her split.
They need this right here. It's got to be clean.
Double tuck. Kicked open a little early, but it was around and landed on 2 feet. Georgia will take it.
And what you love to see from someone with some composure is after a miss, you go up and just knock it out of the park.
This big double pike. So much height. Good form. Could have held on to it for a tad longer, but handled that landing perfectly. And then the double tuck. As the season goes on and endurance gets up a little bit better, that double tuck will be no problem for her.
Each team has one gymnast left to go, and for Alabama, they have had an outstanding beam rotation. It just gets better. 2017 All-American on this event, Nikki Guerrero, will anchor their rotation.
I love how aggressive Nikki is on beam. A lot of girls get timid. Obviously, with it only being 4 inches wide, it can be a little bit daunting. But she's so quick and tight with what she does, it makes it look like she's doing it on the floor.
You can see Kiana Winston score of 9.9, biggest score so far.
A little bit of a save balance check on that turn. Aerial. Rock solid. All that's left is her dismount. Round off. 1.5. Oh, she tried to stick it but took that tiny hop. That aerial done with such ease. And then capping off that great routine with a round off 1.5 twist. Blind landing just scooched forward like a 1/2 inch and did the infamous step turn to not give any more deductions.
The infamous step turn. Got to have the step turn. Now Gigi Marino, she was moved to the bottom of the lineup. Not sure if that was a strategic move or what the reason for that was, but a lot on her to keep pace with Alabama here. She has to hit. They're hoping to drop that 9.2 from Sydney Sneed. Sabrina Vega put up a 9.8.
Round off back handspring, double pike. A little bit out of control on the landing, but she just had so much power. Second tumbling pass. Round off 1.5 front layout, fulfilling that 2 different salto pass, meaning they have to have 2 different styles of direction to flip in one single tumble pass. Torjete half to straddle full, I believe. Getting those bonus points for big high-level jumps. To get your start value up to a 10, you can perform that either in tumbling skills, dance elements, Ending her with the double back. Oh, Lynn, a little short.
Oh, no.
Hoping she's okay. Definitely an ankle crunch never feels good, especially at the end of a floor routine.
And you never want to see this, but it's exactly what Georgia or any team needs. You know, coming in here, they wanted to stay healthy. They wanted to be consistent, do the gymnastics they know how to do, and absolutely do not want to see this.
Showing that last pass again. It's a double tuck. Didn't really get enough height on the set going into the double flip, causing her not to be able to get all the way around.
Yeah, you could just see a little loose in that tuck. Looks like she really jams that left ankle right there. Man, I have been there, Alicia. I bet you have too.
We all have been there. It is very painful. We call it a stinger. It'll burn for a while, and then tomorrow it's going to be a little difficult to walk without a limp.
Already a lot of tape on that ankle. We can just only hope for the best there. Looks like they are going to have to count that 9.2. We heard from Courtney Capetz-Carter earlier. Now we get to hear from Dana Duckworth. Lindsay Sissler's with her.
Hey, Dana. First and foremost, Abby Ombrecht came in on the beam lineup to replace Lexi Graber. How big was it for them to step up and really hit 6 for 6 on the balance beam for you guys?
Well, I think that was a beautiful example of teamwork. We really have planned for that scenario when something happens and someone has to step up to not lose an ounce of confidence, and whoever's going to go in to believe in them, to trust, and to attack. And so that performance is everything we wanted to improve on from last week to this week. So I have no complaints, and I'm very proud of the way they've handled a few adversities that have popped up tonight, but that's what life's about. And we're going to continue to use it as a life lesson. We're going to go over the floor, and we're going to give our all.
Thanks so much, Coach.
It has been an exciting first 3 rotations. Coming up, Alicia and I will take a look at the big picture in the SEC, the greatest conference in the country in women's gymnastics. You're watching Friday Night Heights. John Roethlisberger, Alicia Sacramone Quinn, Lauren Sissler. After 3 rotations, Georgia gave back some points. They are down 0.825. It's going to be tough to come back. In the big picture in the SEC news and notes, it is a great conference. 6 teams in the top 25. Missouri and Georgia did not compete last week, so they may move into that top 25. In Kentucky, they are the up-and-coming team. 196.075 last week on Excite Night. Highest opening meet score in program history. Meanwhile, LSU, they continue to roll, put up a 197.15 in a record attendance for a home opener. And now the weekly award, Sarah Finnegan wins the Gymnast of the Week for outstanding all-around performance, and Kiana Winston is the Specialist of the Week for winning 2 events. And Jasmine Foberg from Florida is your Freshman of the Week. Tonight in Florida, it was a barn burner. Lexi Priestman puts up a career-high 9.925. Not sure where they even found .025 in deductions. That was amazing. Maya Hambrick on floor, a 9.95 for her. And Sarah Finnegan continues to roll. She puts up a 9.925 on the balance beam. And it is LSU. They roll into Gainesville, and they upset the Gators by .075. That might be the best dual meet of the season. And please, join us next week as number 7 Florida takes on number 6 Kentucky. Man, I can't wait for that one. That's going to be good. While number 9 Alabama will take on number 1 LSU. Woo! It's going to be a good time. Coming up, Sabrina Vega. She will anchor the beam lineup for Georgia, and Winston will anchor the beam lineup for Alabama when we come back. That's what we call in the business the funky fun in bump, Alicia. That's my favorite part of the show. It always gets me going a little bit here in the seat. Going into the last rotation, Georgia has got a little bit of work to do. They gave up some points, had a couple misses on floor. Unfortunately, they are down .825. Now this is Sydney Sneed. She is coming off a tough floor routine. Just a 9.2 for her there, trying to get things right for the Bulldogs.
Back handspring, step out, layout, step out, back handspring. 3 connection acro series, always very difficult. as a gymnast, you have to learn how to turn the page if you make a mistake on one event. Show's not over. You could still end up with the W. You just have to be consistent and have short memory. You can't change it. Don't dwell on it.
And keep in mind, last week, Alabama at Michigan, they had a rough floor rotation. They just put up a 48.775. So, you know, not every week is the same, and certainly they will try to build on that. But anything can happen with a lot of gymnastics yet to go here.
Round off. Double full dismount. Stayed on the beam, had a little balance check after her punch front. But I would say that is, you know, a pretty good beam routine to have after making a mistake on floor. You want to come back, prove yourself that you can mentally handle the toughness of this sport.
And that first routine is so critical, especially on beam, to just take a little bit of that pressure off the gymnast coming behind you. And now Winter Childers, she will lead off the floor exercise. She just needs a 9.45 to clinch the all-around title just 2 weeks into this young season in 2018.
I love that they're all working the camera. They're like, hey, guy. I'm just going to do a quick smile before kicking off my floor routine with the first tumbling pass. Round up back handspring, full twisting double back. Big skill to start with. Chestel was a little low on that landing, but I'm not knocking it. It's a hard first tumbling pass to perform.
That was big time gymnastics.
Big double full. Kicked it out a little early with her legs for the landing. But this routine is jam-packed with difficulty.
At the 2015 JO Nationals, Winter won the all-around, she won vault, and she won beam. Great resume as a junior gymnast.
All the girls in the floor lineup have new floor routines this year. Really showing them off, performing like they've had it under their belt for a year or two. It is Friday night, getting a little bit.
The Friday night dance party's in full effect.
It's my favorite part. Front 1.5, punch layout. I'm not gonna lie to you, from the angle that I saw that, I wasn't sure she was gonna get that punch layout step around.
That was amazing, actually. So that should do it in the all-around for Winter Childers. She really just had to stay on her feet to clinch that individual title.
That big full twisting double back. Chest down on that landing, but picks it up real quickly.
Let it go. It was a beautiful full in.
I am an analyst. I am just doing my job. It was a beautiful full in, but if I had to critique it, I would say get your chest up a little bit.
All right, I'll let it slide. That was a great routine. Looks like it will be her first all-around title of the season. Now quickly back over to balance beam. This is freshman Marissa Oakley. She's battled a bit of a shoulder injury in recent weeks, so she's not quite 100%, but certainly a gymnast that could add a lot to this Georgia Bulldog lineup over the course of the season.
Just a few balance checks there. I think her nerves are getting the best of her. Feeling the pressure of knowing you have to hit because your team's counting on you. It's a lot. It can be intense. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out, layout, step out. Unfortunately, doesn't stay on. Her second layout step out, was very short. You're looking for some distance on that second flip, and it almost stayed exactly in place. Cartwheel, gainer full off the side.
Georgia and Alabama played one of the most exciting title games. Monday will feature full breakdown with our SEC Inside College Football Playoff National Championship Special. 9 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and streaming the ESPN app. Man, I wouldn't mind watching that one again. Actually, just give me the fourth quarter and overtime. Unbelievable game. Back over to Florida. This is Maddie Desch again. She's had a nice competition despite having to do that vault twice. She has been solid for for Alabama, and she follows Winter Childers 9.85. That does clinch the all-around for Winter.
First tumbling pass, round off back handspring, double pike, big double pike. Unfortunately over-rotated a bit, took 3 steps back, and one of those steps ended her out of bounds. So she'll lose a 10th per step and the 10th for going out of bounds.
Really, Alabama just needs to avoid multiple catastrophes here in the last rotation to win this dual meet.
Round off 1.5, punch half, split jump, front tuck. That was a mouthful. The never-ending tumbling pass. Switch ring, tourjete half. Last pass here. Round off back handspring, double tuck. Stays in bounds this time, controls that landing much better than her first pass. I would say that's another hit for Alabama.
There's legendary coach Sarah Patterson of Alabama. She won 6 national titles, one of the most successful coaches in college history. And that lady right there, Suzanne Yaculin, she won 10. One of the most dominant stretches in collegiate gymnastics history. And coming up next, it's SEC story, Sarah and Suzanne. The story of the rise of 2 of college gymnastics' most dominant programs and one of the most heated rivalries in SEC history. That should be phenomenal. This is Natalie Vakulik trying to get things right here for Georgia, following a 9.175 for Marissa Oakley. And unfortunately, things have gone off the rails for Georgia here in the last couple rotations.
Just completely went off the side on her aerial. You have to keep your composure in a team setting like this. It is crucial just to remain calm and do what you can do in training. Switch lead, straddle quarter. Required full turn. I feel like whenever we get to beam, I start using a golf voice. Should be respectful of the event. End of the routine with a round off 1.5 dismount. Back handspring, step out, layout, step out. Rock solid on that. It's just lost our composure on some other skills there. The round off 1.5. I like the way she redeemed herself. She may have fell, but she didn't give any more deductions to the judges after that.
That's always tough, no matter what event you fall off of. You know you got to get back up and you got to hit clean, especially because they already had 1 miss. So you don't want to exasperate the mistakes. Now Shea Mahoney, last week she only got an 8.8 on floor. But this just feels like a different week for Alabama.
You know, there's something about being at home in front of your own fans. It just gives you a little bit more confidence, a little more ease. Big double pike. I believe she stepped out of bounds. That was a pretty big lunge back. I hope she didn't, though. Switch side. Showing off that dance. Second tumbling pass, front handspring, front full, front layout. Close to the line again, but she kept it in bounds this time. Beautiful loop connection. One tumbling pass remaining. Round off back handspring, double tuck. Much controlled landing on that one. I would say that was much better than last week.
That's going to be a big improvement on an 8.8 last week at Michigan.
A lot of height and momentum going backwards.
Did she keep the heel up? It looked like she kept her heel up, though.
I don't know. I think they're going to give her the deduction. I didn't see a flag go up. That's the only thing. So maybe they didn't give it there.
It was close. It was close. Maddie Desch, meanwhile, right before her, put up a 9.675. I suspect Shea Mahoney's score will build on that. She's all smiles. And we're back over to the balance beam. Vivi Babalis.
Front aerial to back layout, step out. Switch leap, split jump. Little balance checks here and there. Balance beam is by far the most stressful women's event, in my opinion. Nice connection there, rock solid on that landing. Punch front full. That's what Georgia needed, a hit routine to get them back on track, to make up for the few mistakes that they did have.
Yeah, this is going to be a learning experience for the Bulldogs for sure.
A front pike toss to beat jump. She had so much height. Those are hard to get around if you're not a dynamic athlete, and she made that look very easy.
So now fourth up for Alabama, Abby Armbrecht. She follows a 9.8 from Shea Mahoney. You can see the scores at 9.675. Certainly is a score Alabama will hope to drop if they can hit these last three routines very clean.
Round off back handspring, double pike. These girls are just having a little too much extra power at setting them backwards too close to the line.
Extra power, I think, is something you can deal with. It's when you're struggling to make that skill around is when you have problems.
Definitely. Switch side hat, or switch side, excuse me, Popeful. Popeful, I'm just being a little repetitive on that one. Round off 1.5 punch front layout. Alabama keeps up at this rate. I think this will be 14 in a row if they can hold off Georgia. Front handspring, front layout, 1.5. Nice form, control. Finishing that routine very strong.
Dana Duckworth all smiles. So we saw Gigi Marino for Georgia on their floor rotation injure that ankle. You can see she's back out. Let's just hope that it's a short-lived time on those crutches and this isn't something more serious. She's a senior this year and hoping to get the most out of her senior year. Now Rachel Dixon goes in the 5th spot for Georgia, trying to get a little positivity here at the end of the rotation.
Front aerial, switch leap, straddle quarter. Unique connection of skills there. I like that. It's, you know, bringing something different to the table that you don't see the same thing over and over from every athlete.
You can see those scores thus far. Unfortunately, Georgia is going to have to count a score in the 9.2s.
That handspring, step out, layup, step out.
The troubles continue. Sometimes it's contagious, Alicia. One girl makes a mistake and it just kind of bleeds into the next, and
it's a mental game at that point. They're just letting the fear and the anxiety creep in of not hitting, and that's all you're thinking about is, oh, I can't fall, instead of thinking of, all right, I'm gonna hit. As much as gymnastics is physical, it's very mental. Back handspring, stuck 1.5. That was a nice dismount. Ending the routine on a positive note, even though there was one mistake in there. A lot of people don't have super high expectations for Georgia this year. It's a rebuilding year. They have new coaching. The girls are getting used to the staff, and I think they've had a pretty decent showing thus far. It's their first time out this season, and a few mistakes here and there.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's early in the season. Every program's going to struggle a bit.
Yeah. And they had a great first half of the competition, like we said. It's just things have kind of gone sideways here at the end as we see Nikki Guerrero finishing up her night on floor.
Big double pike. Jump connection here. Switch side, straddle full. Round off 1.5, punch front full, making sure she stayed in bounds. I really like Nikki's floor team, I'm not gonna lie to you. Gets me going. And she's just fun to watch because she's so animated.
She is into it. And the crowd is too, they are loving it.
Man, I'm into it. I get it. Front 1.5. I would say this is a much better floor rotation for Alabama than last week. Making those little corrections they needed to in the gym. Really showing they're trusting in their process and committing to being aggressive. And just that power of one.
Here's another look at the last pass.
Front handspring. Laid out 1.5, also known as a Rudy. To a aggressive floor finish.
Nikki's got to be happy now. Sabrina Vega can finish off a tough beam rotation for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Sabrina has been donned with the honor of doing that moonwalk. That's a tradition for the Georgia Gym Dogs. She struggled a little bit on her switch ring. It's a very difficult leap. You lose sight of the balance beam when you stick your head back. Back handspring layup, step out. Full turn. Sabrina has always been a very good beam worker, even in her days on national team. She was known for her beautiful artistry and ability to be able to jump and tumble. Switch leap. Split quarter. And here we see that moonwalk. When we asked Courtney why she didn't perform the moonwalk in her career at Gym Dogs, she goes, I couldn't do it.
There we go.
Nice hit for the Gym Dogs.
So it's early in her young career, Courtney Capets-Carter. She's not going to be thrilled with tonight, but you know what? You're out of the gate. The career has begun, and I guarantee you she will only build and continue to improve that squad.
Alabama's final competitor on the floor is Kiana Winston.
Now with Nikki Guerrero's Florida team, it was academic, but she did clinch the team title for them tonight with a 9.8. Alabama will score over a 196, but they can improve their score on this. They have a 9.675 counting on their team score. Right now they have a 196.3, and we know that this young lady is capable of putting up a perfect 10.
Kiana has some strong legs and gets super high in her tumbling. Big double pike. Georgia Tay half. Supposedly had some foot pain this morning where she couldn't stand up, and they just popped the bone back in. Just a little chiropractic adjustment, and apparently she's fine.
Apparently she shook it off nicely because she looks good here.
Beautiful leap switch ring to switch half. Over 180 degrees.
Alabama put up a 195.675 last week at Michigan, so they will almost add a point to that score tonight.
Round up back handspring, double tuck, stuck. I think that will be probably a 9-9 routine. Judges won't go bigger than that.
Likely will not go 10-0 tonight, but good way for Kiana Winston to finish.
Round off back handspring, big double pike. And that last pass, beautiful double tuck. Dana Duckworth loving it.
Doing the routine right along with her.
Had a few adversities here and there today, but overcame it and finished very strong in the floor exercise. Much better than they did last week on floor at Michigan.
So it's Alabama's night. They defend the rivalry here in Tuscaloosa. When we come back, we will wrap things up. We'll get final scores, all-around winners here at Coleman Coliseum. That is a very happy Alabama Crimson Tide team. Alexi Brandon loves it. They defend their home turf in the biggest rivalry in women's gymnastics. Alabama defeats Georgia. This is our summary. They won by 2 points. Some points of note, Alicia Sacramone.
A little recap. Unfortunately, Lexi Graber got injured on vault and was taken out of the beam rotation. The Georgia Gym Dogs had to count 3 falls on the balance beam, which is unfortunate, but they can definitely bounce back from that. And last but not least, Winter Childers won the all-around with a 39-325, and this makes 14 straight win over the Georgia Gym Dogs for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Congratulations, Alabama. The final score, 196.525 to 194.525. It's Alabama's night. For Alicia Sacramone Quinn and Lauren Sisler, I'm John Roethlisberger. Of all the broadcast teams here on the SEC Network, we're definitely one of them. Coming up next, SEC Storied, Sarah and Suzanne. So long from Tuscaloosa.